Welcome. In this video, we're gonna start to learn about the switch statement and how to use it. So the switch statement is used when to give the user many options to choose from. So let's suppose we have the integer a, and then we're gonna ask from the user enter the number that, or actually let's change it. We say welcome to our program. What would you like to do? So we're gonna end the file over here, and then we're gonna say cout. We're gonna say okay, open a file, or create a new file. And we're gonna in the line over here, we're gonna also say okay, now open a file, and another way to write the end line, instead of putting this statement over here, you could write it this way. So this is gonna end the line, but you have to put it inside the string over here, as you guys see. Okay, and we're gonna say okay, the third statement is load or upload a file. So we're also gonna put the in the line over here, and then last statement is gonna be exit. So let's go for it and see how it goes. Just we put the comma, okay, and then we're gonna ask from the user to enter the a, which is our integer, and then over here, this is how we're gonna use the switch statement. So you write switch, and then you parentheses, you put the a over here, and then you open the braces, and here we go. So we're gonna give the user 4 cases, and with another default case. So we're gonna start with the case in which that a equals 1, right? So if a equals 1, then we would like to create a new file, right? So you write it this way: case 1, in which the user enters 1. So we're gonna say okay, if the user enters 1, then we're gonna say, or then we're gonna say to him create a new files. Okay, we're gonna say just an example: a file has been created, and we have to also put the break statement. So what does the break statement do is it's gonna break from the program. That's what break statement do. I will explain that later. So it's gonna say okay, I reach this. Whenever our program reaches break statement, it stops. It goes like completely out from the program, which means that it will go out from the switch statement. So basically all of this stuff are right now inside the switch statement. When we reach the break statement, everything gonna stop, and we continue our program, what comes after the switch statement. That's what the break do. I will explain that later. Just let's continue our and then we have another case in which if the user enters 2, then we're gonna say okay, we're gonna say which file to open. This is just an example. It's not something that, and we also have to put the break statement. And then we also go to the case 3, in which we're gonna say, if the user chooses, we're gonna say choose a file to upload. And let's give max 4 megabyte. And then we have the case, or let's not forget the break statement. And then we're gonna have the case 4. And just and then I'm gonna say cout. So just keep in mind to indent over here. As you guys see, when I write the switch statement, I indented the case and also indented what's inside the case. So just keep this in mind. So it will make the program looks much better. As you guys see, this more organized than writing it in non-specific order. Okay, and if we user choose 4, then we're gonna say thank you. And we close the program. Okay, now let's put break statement over here also. Don't forget to put the break statement after in all of the, and then we have the default case in which it's gonna execute it whenever the user enters a number different than 1, 2, 3, or 4. So let's suppose he enters 5, or maybe he enters 4, then this statement will be executed. We're gonna say please enter either 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then we're gonna say break. And yep, that's it. So let's run the program. So what's gonna happen over here is it's gonna depend whatever user choose. If you choose 1, then we're gonna say this statement. If he enters 2, then we're gonna say this. And if he enters 3, then we're gonna say that. And let's run it, and hopefully no error in the program. Okay, great. Welcome to our program. What would you like to do? Okay, 1, create a new file, open a file, upload a file, or exit. So what does it remind you guys? So usually we use that when we are creating a menu. So when the user opens the program, he sees this menu. What would you like to do? So that's how you create the menu. It's more, switch statement is useful for creating menus a lot. So if let's suppose I enter 2, which is open a file, it's gonna say which file to open. As you guys see, this is just an example. And let's run it one more time. We enter 1, it's gonna say a file has been created. And if I enter, let's suppose 5, which is not in the range, it's gonna say please enter either 1, 2, 3, or 4, because it's gonna execute the default statement immediately. So this is the way to use the switch statement. And you could also, instead of using the switch, you could use the if else statement. But this one looks much easier to understand, much more organized, I would say. So it's better to use the switch statement, but just keep in mind that you could use the else if statement and the else. So you could say if the a equals 1, then print that. Else if a equals 2, print this. Else if a equals else, and then over here for the default, you're gonna say else only. So yeah, we're gonna continue with this example, and for now, thank you very much for watching.